Hi, everyone. We are here at the river for another amazing day, and it is an amazing day. Sun's bright. The air is actually a little cool, which is great. It's been so hot, so the fact that it's cooled down today, very much appreciated. But every time we get down to the river, it's just relaxing. It's right. Takes stresses away. And I'm always glad to be able to share this time with all of you here at the river. Spring is now in full swing. Everything is growing. Grass is growing. Trees are getting covered in leaves. The sun rises in a different way. The world feels different. That's one of the interesting things about the seasons is it changes the way the world feels, or at least that's my perception of it. And I'm sure that a lot of us have a perception change when the season changes. Must be very common. A quick visual descriptor. I have long brown hair, glasses, a gray shirt, coffee mug in hand. Behind me is the river and the rising sun. Actually, let's see if we can get some of that here in the shot. There we go. Yes, we can. We can get that in the shot. Coffee mug in hand. We have the flowing waters. It's just, oh, it's just beautiful. I hope you have your coffee or tea, whatever it may be, whatever makes your day amazing. I'm a coffee person, so I have my cuppa. And if you don't have a cuppa in hand, get one. Never a better time than now. Unless you are so busy that you can't get a cuppa, in which case, when you can, grab a cuppa. We've talked before about getting in touch with creativity, and we've talked about art and writing and all these wonderful different aspects of being creative people, of being entrepreneurs, artists, authors, film, live streamers. No matter where you are, what your job is, where you are in your journey, it's my belief that creativity is a necessity. We need to be able to think creatively, shift our mind, and also take the world with a grain of salt. Life, don't take it so seriously. Not all the time. We can get really bogged down in what's around us. We can get hung up on our career and our goals. That's okay, it's normal. But it can draw energy away from our ability to get things done. That's what I'd like to talk to you about. See, creativity, it's actually a vast array of different skills, different abilities, different ways to do things. So it's never just one thing. So when I say getting in touch with creativity, I do mean your creativity, the way you do things, the way you perceive things, your skills, and your amazing mind. Because take it from me, we all have amazing minds. Your mind and the way you think is amazing. But sometimes, just sometimes, our amazing minds can take away from that. Some things you can do to get in touch with your creativity are going to start with the obvious one. You know, they say practice makes perfect, but I disagree with that. We need more than practice. If you just practice selling to people, if you just practice drawing the same figures over and over again, you You will get good at those skills, but you won't be perfecting your craft. What you need beyond practice are things like observation and education. Now, observation is self explanatory. Watch the way other people do things. And with your amazing mind, pull it apart. Look at their style, their skills, their techniques, and see how you can apply those things to what you do. But beyond just observing, you really need to ask questions. In this day and age, we have Google right there all the time and a myriad of other search engines. We can get online and we can ask questions. If we don't understand how something's done, even if it's explained to us, we can look it up. So in your observations, don't forget to question your observations. If there's something you don't understand, it's going to give you a lot of insight, a lot more depth to what you're perceiving. And it's also going to expand upon your own skill set. Maybe you've been drawing a particular way and you always have trouble with some aspect of that. You leave streaks on the paper. You can't quite figure out how to position feet. You are looking for ways to make reflections, but all you're doing is making shadows. Ask, observe, but also ask questions. And then, of course, education. Education is immensely important. Now, it doesn't have to be formalized education through a university or a college or an accredited program. Those are great, though. But again, in this day and age, education is a wide swath of things. You have tutorials, you have websites like Skillshare that you can go on, and Teachable, where you can take courses directly from sometimes a lot of the creators that you enjoy watching. But then there's other things. You can take workshops, you can attend seminars, you can go to events, classes of all shapes and sizes, groups that give feedback exist. Education does not always have to be a little box. Education sometimes is in the doing, in the being. And sometimes it's more informal. Getting into a Zoom call with a bunch of your peers and discussing the ways you do things. Learning through direct word of mouth or by comparing and contrasting your ideas. If you observe and question and pursue education in whatever it is you want to do, you're going to grow. Practice is important. And as I said, there is that old saying, practice makes perfect. But that brings us to our next point. Forget perfectionism. Not a single one of us is ever going to be perfect. I'm sure that you look at someone in your field, or maybe just someone you admire, and you think, oh, the way they do things is perfect. The lighting in that film shot, the scripting for that movie or that web series, the animation for a cartoon, the cells and blocks for a webcomic, the wordsmithing of an amazing novel, or the on point engagement and questions and conversation of a live stream. We can look at others and we can see what we think is perfect. But those people are just like us. Oftentimes, they're trying to improve themselves. They're growing and growing. And maybe when you look at them and you think they're perfect, it's simply because they're on a different point in the journey. And again, I know some of these things that I talk about, they can seem kind of obvious in hindsight, or maybe you thought about it yourself, but it never hurts to get that validation from another set of eyes or ears, a different speaker to say, they're just in a different point. And you are just in a different point from where you started or from where you'll end up. We have long, long spans of time compressed into shorter and shorter moments now. And that might sound counterintuitive. How can we have long spans of time compressed into shorter moments? Let me just say, from the beginning of 2020 until now, uh, that was a really long time, and it feels so short. And I'm sure many of you can relate. That's a long span of time that's been compressed. But the same is true for our work weeks. A week is a long time, but it can oftentimes feel so short, and weekends even shorter. Forget perfectionism. Striving to be perfect is going to frustrate. It's going to put an expectation on yourself. You're always going to run the risk of getting disappointed in your progress. Just do. And granted, through working, through all this striving and driving and pushing to be better, we will get frustrated. And we will let ourselves down sometimes. And that's okay. It's part of growth. We're going to let ourselves down now and then. But also forgive yourself when that happens. We're just human. And perfection, well, that's too tall of a mountain for most of us to ever even think about climbing. It's not realistic. And then, of course, for my last point, have fun. Have fun. Whether it's in your career or your hobbies or your skills or your side hustle, have fun. That pressure of, I have to do this and I have to do it great, who does that help? Now, some people work best under pressure, and I don't downplay that. But should we be putting ourselves under that pressure? Should we be laying those expectations on ourselves? Should we be forcing ourselves into a position where we're no longer having fun? If I sit down and I start to paint, if it doesn't become fun, or if it didn't start fun, or if it doesn't end fun, well, why did I just do that? And of course, I've talked before about how we should do things, even if we're not necessarily in the mood, but it should still kick up that spark in you. If what you're doing feels empty, maybe take a break. And that's, of course, the last part. Make sure to be taking breaks from your goals, from your striving and driving. Practice, of course. Learn and observe. Forget about perfection. Have fun. And also take breaks. We can't be on 24/7, 365 days a year. Just not doable. Even though internet algorithms on many different platforms really want us to be constantly on and doing, we can't do that. And we shouldn't force ourselves to. So make sure to take breaks. Reset yourself. Get back in touch. So to recap, don't just practice, observe, ask questions, get education about the things you want to do. Forget perfection. You're only putting expectations on yourself. And when you forget perfection, you can be more creative because then you don't have that constraint. Make sure to have fun, whether it's for your career or whether it's for your hobbies or whether it's for your passions. Make sure you're having fun. Even if you intend to make money doing something, you should be having fun. Fun also is going to help ignite your creativity. Take breaks to reset yourself, to reset your mind, your abilities. Time spent away from our craft, again, is going to open up our imagination. It's going to realign us to what we were doing to begin with. Maybe we're going to be flooded with new ideas. Maybe we're just going to look back at an idea we had in the past and say, I want to try that again. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, get yourself an extra cuppa. You deserve one. Coffee, tea, whatever it may be. You're amazing. You work hard. You deserve a cuppa. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to talk to you about the Art of Feeling, my abstract expression art workshop. Tickets are available through Eventbrite where you can sign up and you can join us. The next one is May 21st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You're going to have a lot of fun if you come. I've talked about it a bunch, but let me just say that everyone is welcome, no matter what level of art you're familiar with. If you've never picked up a paintbrush, you are welcome. If you've been painting for years, you're welcome. If you're a professional artist, you're welcome. If you're a hobby artist, you're welcome. If you doodle in the margins of your notebooks at school, you're welcome. The Art of Feeling is an abstract expression art workshop where you learn to channel emotions, feelings, sensations within you into color, shape, tone, and make the formless thoughts inside you take form. But it is about time for me to get out of here. So I'd like to say thank you, everyone, for being here today. Thank you for joining me at the river. Be excellent. Take care. Keep striving. Keep driving. Stay off. Bye, everybody.